When you buy a pack of seeds, this is a pack of peas. This is one of the techniques I use. The root system has started forming.
Oh मेरे भाई,
Let's start with seeds. Seed is where everything starts. Many gardeners talk about medium. Medium is very important, and in the time to come, I'll show you how I create my different mediums. Even in mediums now, we talk about hydroponics, growing things in water. We talk about different kind of soils, compost, you name it. And those are all the right things to do. But my point is, life starts with a seed. What I do, I have a shoebox. I put all my seeds in it. Once seeds are used, what I do is I'll take, so let's say all these seeds were saved, tie a rubber band around it, and it can go in the box. What's needed to save the seeds properly? Dark and temperature, which is not too hot, not too cold. My shoebox is already doing the dark part of it, because once these seeds go in it, it's not about to see light. I did not spend any money on a special gadget to save seeds, because these were the sneakers I bought last year. And I have the box, why not use it? The second thing is the temperature. Generally speaking, you'll hear room temperature. Room temperature, what's room temperature? Room temperature is whatever makes a human being comfortable. And if it's comfortable human temperature, not too hot, not too cold, that's what you're looking for. And the last thing is moisture. When it comes to moisture, if you're not living in a very high humidity area, this box will take care of it. So we discuss with seeds which were store-bought. You buy them, you find a good price, buy as much as you want. Actually, don't go overboard, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, buy a decent amount. Don't worry that whatever you can't use, you have to throw them away. You don't have to throw them away, because you will be able to grow them next year and even a year after. As I said, there's no expiration date for seeds. The germination slows down. That's it. So very important to remember. But you follow those techniques of dark, room temperature, and not too much humidity, you're fine. You don't have to buy anything special like a wine cellar. You don't have to put your seeds in the fridge. You don't have to. People go over and beyond. But if you're doing that, then you're not having fun with your gardening. Gardening is about fun. Gardening is about learning. And if you don't learn every day or every time you do something, it's not gardening. That becomes science. And there's nothing wrong with science. We'll also talk about, as I said, you can store your seeds. This is one of the techniques I use. So these were some peppers that towards the end of the season, I took them, put in this plate, and they've been sitting in this plate for the last 6 or 8 months. And I just left it there. I'm a lazy person. So I try to find solutions which are for lazy people. So look at this pepper. So this is a Thai pepper. It's also called bird's eye, depending on, there's a bit, it's from the same family. Actually, it's a pepper family, but it's from the same family. The size changes. If I was doing it right, or if I was doing it how most people do, I would have taken the seeds out. I would use a plastic bag or something to store it. I have to write it down, and that way I will remember next year. I found a lazy people way of doing it. Leave the seed in the pod, wherever it was. Then nature is already taking care of it. It was just sitting open like this in a dark area in my house, and that's it. I already know this is bird's eye. This is lemon drop. I don't have to label it. I just know looking at what the pot is. So there's a way to do that also. Same things over here. Some flower seeds. The flowers are all still there. So looking at them, I'll be able to tell what kind of flower, what kind of seed it is. Yes, it becomes important, especially with flowers or things where you cannot differentiate as much, that to keep seeds properly, store them in a way that you are able to figure out next year. And on this channel, what I'm trying to explain from my perspective over the years, what I've learned, I'm not a commercial gardener or a commercial farmer. I grow for fun. I grow things to eat, to give to my friends, family. That's what I'm trying to do. I don't even sell, and I don't want to sell. Many people have asked me, why don't you sell? And my reasoning is, you do not sell your passion. I love doing this, and I don't think anybody can pay for it, would be able to pay for it. So that's my reasoning. If it changes, if I sell, we'll see in years to come that what my reasoning would be. But as of right now, for the years and years that I've been growing, it's always about enjoying yourself and giving to friends and family and neighbors so they can enjoy also. Seeding is one thing. Then there's another thing which I want to touch upon. I won't show you how it's done today, but I'll give you a generic idea. So what you could do is you can regrow things. You can grow, if an onion starts growing, don't throw it out. Put it in the ground. You might not get an onion out of it, but you'll get the greens, which if you cut and put in your food, they're very flavorful. So if you have pots or space or something, don't throw anything out. Most things could be reused, either by putting them in the ground or by composting. Any organic material like this should not go in garbage. There's no reason ever. Okay, so the last week I bought celery. So you ate the celery, cut the bottom, put it in water. I leave it in water for a week or so, and you have to change the water because it should not get slimy. Once it starts developing some roots, I'll put it in my raised garden. Just letting you know, it will grow something. You are not about to get celery stalks if you think you would. You will really get the celery leaves. For me, celery leaves are so flavorful. They go in stews. I even replace it for some of the things where it calls for parsley. The flavors in my book are very close to each other. So you're not about, so from here, you're not about to get celery. Or even if you get the stalks, they will be very thin. They're not edible. Like if you want to crunch on it, they don't work. But if you chop them up and put a stew or in a stir fry or something, they work perfect. So yes, from this, I'm not about to get a salary, but I'm about to get some kind of food. My second example is ginger. With ginger, when you buy it at the store, you'll see this is where new ginger will grow. So what I'm doing over here, this has been 36 hours that I've left these two ginger roots, and actually the word ginger root is incorrect. It's a rhizome. And I've left in water for it to start a bit. I leave it, some people say 24 hours, 30 to 48. That's about it. 48 after that, it will start becoming slimier, and then it's not growing. So I'm just activating the system, and I will put it in some of my pots, uh, hopefully by tomorrow or day after. So they'll start. And it will be a different video that we'll make at some point in time. This is the best one, lemongrass. Lemongrass is one of those things that works wonderful in most of the Thai cooking and in many other cookings also. If you go and buy a lemongrass plant from a nursery, $3 or $4 for a plant. What I do is I buy my lemongrass because I use it for my cooking from a supermarket. And what you could do, well, in this case, I really bought it for growing, so I did not use it. But typically, I'll use it till here, and this section I'll leave in the water. See again, the root system has started forming. I'm not ready to put it in the ground or anywhere outside right now because it's a bit too cold, and lemongrass does not like it. So I'll leave in the water for some time. Once it's warm enough outside, I'll just put it in the ground, and it will keep on producing for the rest of the season. 99 cents to buy 3 of those. It'll give me so much lemongrass, I won't know what to. Sweet potato. There are different varieties. This is the most common one in North America. This is the white kind, I think. So what you do is you take a sweet potato. Sweet potato is different compared to a potato, even though the word potato is in it, but they're not the same thing. Sweet potatoes, from a sweet potato itself, you have to grow slips. What's a slip? Again, I don't know how much you can see. Leaving in water, some root system is forming already. In another week or two, it will start growing greens, called slips. At that point in time, in 2 or 3 weeks, I'll be able to cut them, separate them, and just stick them in the ground. And since I'm talking about sweet potatoes, one other thing, the best thing about sweet potatoes is you can eat the sweet potato, which everybody knows. You can also eat its greens. They're wonderful. They're very close to the taste of spinach, but a bit more nutty. So just some information. Before I move on, today in the county I live in, they were giving free trees. And these are not trees, they're almost like sticks. And it's just so that more people can grow trees around in the backyard, front yards. While I was collecting my free sticks, I'll use the word sticks because once you see it, you'll say, this does not look like a tree, it's a stick. A gentleman who will be my age or a bit older asked the person who was giving away those trees, so what should I do with it? Now, keeping in mind people who were giving these trees away, they don't know much about it because they're just workers for the municipality. That's it. As soon as I heard, I jumped in. I said, I'll give you something simple. When you get a tree which is this size, don't put that in ground. Put it in a pot. Multiple reasons for it. One, you can control the environment better. You can water it better. And with a pot, you can put a saucer underneath and you can water it properly. As I use the word stick, let's see what it is. So this is the bag where I have my 4 trees. The best way to do this would be, and I would not demonstrate, I'm just explaining today, to take some water because you have to activate the roots. So what you'll do is, so what did I get? I got a bur or oak and chestnut oak. Bur oak can tolerate shade, but chestnut oak, what I understand, you need sun. So this is the tree. 2 trees. Put in water. These trees will become huge. These are full-size trees, 60, 70, 40 feet. So if you take something like this and put in your backyard, most of the time you would not be able to figure out where to put it, and a tree to get to that 50, 40 or 60 feet, it takes years and years. So my recommendation was take a pot, put these trees in like separate pots. 5-gallon is good enough. You don't need huge. Grow it for at least 1, if not 2 years. By that time, you'll start feeling that how the tree is, how the leaves are. You'll start learning it. By that time, the tree might be ready. Sometimes it might take even 3 years. That the root bulb underneath has formed properly. Take the whole thing out and then figure out a spot to plant it. Out of the 4 here, in the years I've done this every year, I'm guessing 1 or 2 will survive. So why try to take some precious space thinking this will be a 70-foot tall tree when it might not survive the first year? So the best way to do is put in water for 24 hours. That will activate the root system. Once that's done, take a pot, plant it. And these planting techniques in coming weeks and months we'll discuss, because I do grow trees also, and we will do a special about trees. And then put it depending on if you need sun or shade. You can control, as I said, the water by putting saucer. You can fertilize, because when it's easier to fertilize when things are in pots compared to open ground. And then if it becomes one of those years that the winter is super cold, you can bring the planter inside, put in the garage if you don't have space inside the house. At least the tree will survive. So this is an overall picture of seeds. Let's call it plants, seeds from last year, how to store seeds, how to start the slips, how to take some of the supermarket. So this was my introduction to seeds. In coming weeks, we'll discuss about how to start growing these seeds. So I look forward that I'll see you guys in the coming weeks. Thank you so much.